Folks, welcome back to another Poem Master video, and yesterday we went through a, I guess, DPS slash damage dealer tier list for Balvilla, and yeah, today we're going to go over, again, still for Balvilla, a tier list for supports and tanks and some techish units, right, for, again, Balvilla. So, again, huge shout outs for MTS for, helping me work this out, double checking all that stuff. So it's just not, me throwing random stuff on the board and hoping, like, it works out. But yeah, again, completely subjective, right? Not anyone, no one's going to completely agree with this list. I don't even completely agree with it, right? So yeah, it's fine if you don't agree with it. That's again, that's fine. Let's get into this then. So, basically we're ranking this in terms of usefulness in Villa and how powerful they are individually, right? So, we are again taking account into some lucky skills that it could have and all that stuff. So, yeah, let's get in this. And so, starting with the first one, which is in like some kind of order. I don't know. Not really. The gridded Pikachu. So this is easily going in the top tier. Like the best of the best. I know a lot of people have been talking trash about Pikachu. Like there's memes everywhere about gridded Pikachu, Potionju after folks knew what's going on with like the Skyla grid and whatever. But do keep in mind a few things about Skyla and Pikachu. Is Skyla better than Pikachu? In most respects, yes. I do think Skyla is probably better than Pikachu. I'm not 100% sure if Skyla. Well, you know what? No. I do think Skyla is better than Pikachu, even at 2 out of 5. Which again, you do combine Skyla. We can't really get Skyla 2, 3 out of 5 yet. But is Pikachu then just bad now? Are you not going to use Pikachu? Is Pikachu unusable? No, that's preposterous if you say that, right? Battle Villa, 9 units per day. It's just not, it's not like, oh, use 3 units and beat the whole thing. No, you could use 9 units per day. You could still use Pikachu. When you run out of potions on Skylight, you switch to Pikachu, and then the more potions, right? So yeah, Pikachu's still really, really good. Double master healers, 1 potion MP refresh, and you also get the chance, which Skyla actually doesn't have, right? But Skyla does have an extra potion MP refresh, which is much better, much better in my opinion, and also support moves and all that stuff, bulk. But Pikachu also has the ability to get both Thundershock nodes with hostile environment and move gauge refresh on Thundershock, which I personally love. So yeah, that's why Pikachu's up there. Paralysis really good, all that stuff, right? So yeah, moving on to Steelix. Steelix, I'll put it in basically the best tier, which reasoning being Steelix works really, really well under sand. This is gridded Steelix, by the way. Gridded Steelix works really, really well under sand, and gridded Steelix really honestly wouldn't be up here if it weren't for how good Garchomp and Acerola are, right? Both of them are phenomenal. And Steelix would just work so well in that environment, right? It's just an insane physical tank. Look at that defense stat, 360 when you mega it, right? 300 when you're not megging. That's you when you're at mega, you're 99 points higher than the next best unit. And everyone knows how good Rotom's defenses are. This is just like insanity. And it's not like its special defense is like potato. Special defense 185. That's still decent, right? That's still like among the best in the game. But like this physical defense stat is just insanity, and its HP is not bad either. It has more HP than a Rotom, almost as much as Dusknoir, right? So that's really, really good. And for its Synchro, you get Soothing Sand and Sand Shelter, right? So you don't take damage in sand, and you heal in sand. So something that could tank like a monster, you could still heal. You get like you could raise the attack of all allies with Clang Berserker Punch, and then you also have MP Refresh on Clang, which again is great skill, you got recuperation. So when you use your, sync move to go into Mega Steelix to raise your defenses, you also get 40% HP back. And you also get impatient. Has small chance, 20% chance of reducing your sync move countdown by 1 when you get hit by an attack move, which you always will be getting hit because you are the maybe not so much with Acerola and Garchomp on the team, just because Acerola can astonish, which another reason why the Sand team is just like incredibly insane right now, right? And yeah, it's, what can I say? It's just an insane tank. Moving on, let's see. Dusknoir, I'm going to throw it in the super good on multiple stages tier, because it's super good on multiple stages, right? It's Dusknoir is like your boss stage go-to support, right? Because you get Dire Hit plus all, and you get attack buffs and move gauge buffs, and you're pretty tanky as well. So if your striker ran out of Dire Hit or crit buffs on their own buffs, where they never had them to begin with, throw Dusknoir in there. Probably would want another healer and another tank, because Dusknoir can't really tank whole stage on itself most of the time, right? Depending on what you run, right? But yeah, Dusknoir is really nice. Unfortunately, Dusknoir doesn't have a grid, so it doesn't have like any move gauge refresh on Shadow Punch, which would make it so much better, right? Or anything more, crazier to add to its kit, which is already really good. But still, really, really solid support for the most part. Again, its use is kind of limited. You probably won't be using it outside of boss stages for the most part, but when you do use them in boss stages, it works out really well. Moving on, let's see. Lycanroc, we'll put it in the still really good tier, because it's still really good, right? Lycanroc is great in Balvilla because of how it works, right? So Lycanroc has Leer, which is just it's a top tier tech move. Like, what else can I say, right? It decreases opponent's defenses. It's a 1 gauge move. You could spam that, and it's an AoE. it's just a really, really good move, right? It also have Rock Doom to slow the opponents, which you could also use, but who really cares? What's the other? Oh, Calyrex, whatever. I mean, Calyrex, maybe you could throw in some chip. You generally won't use it, but Leer is just really, really powerful, especially when you pair it with a lot of like the really strong physical strikers. Now in Villa, right? Stuff like Garchomp, Metagross, Ho-Oh to an extent, right? As well. It's the Olivia, right? It's just really, really good in that sense. And also, Digimon Leer does not cost any MP. You could just use it unlimitedly. Moving on to the next one, Starmie. We're going to put it in the super good on multiple stages tier, because super good on multiple stages. The biggest issue with Starmie is that it doesn't have a grid, doesn't have MP refresh on the trainer move, whatever it's called. I can't remember what it's called. But it's just so good, right? The trainer move allows one target, and one target only, to gain +2 evasiveness and gradually heal itself. And if you're wondering, okay, it's only one target, what the heck? Some other units you could have the whole team do that. Yes, but you also sharply raise evasiveness, and Starmie has X special defense, all, which is really, really good. And like, not 90% of the time, only one unit on your team is going to be, well, I wouldn't say, well, maybe 80% of the time. Like, I completely pulled those percentages out of nowhere, right? But most of the time, it's just going to be one unit taking damage, right? Anyways, unless like you're facing an opponent that just spams AoEs, or when the sync move hits, right? But most of the time, it's just going to be one unit taking the damage. So having heals on one unit is it's just enough, right? And again, you also raise its evasiveness and X special defense all. It's just super, super good, right? Moving on to Blissey. Blissey is an interesting one. We're going to put Blissey in the not bad tier. Blissey is a potion unit, basically. That's what Blissey, boils down to. But Blissey is probably one of the better potion units. Like, it's not just, if you have potion, you're automatically good. Obviously not. There's a lot of potion units that kind of suck, right? But Blissey is one of the better ones. Like, it's like, when you look at like its stats, it's kind of whatever, right? Oh, actually, never mind. I was thinking of someone else in terms of stats. Oh, okay, that's really, really good. Okay, yeah, yeah. Its physical defense is like terrible. Really good special defense and a lot of HP. But you're mostly just using its healing move because, like, unlike a lot of healing moves, that's just like a straight up potion. Blissey's healing move also sharply raises your defense and special defense, which is really, really good, obviously, for these stages. And then you also have X special attack all, which is nice as well. So there's that. Also, flamethrower with very small chance of leaving target burn, which is kind of pointless. I won't say like it's pointless, but you know. Also, you have healing hand too. Have moderate chance of removing all status conditions. While sync prayers after you use a move, which is really, really nice. So moving on to Embor. Embor is, if you're wondering why Embor is even here, like, oh, it's a striker. Well, no, not really. Embor is more honestly more of a support than a striker now. We're gonna put Embor in the starting to struggle a bit tier. Embor is here because it has potion, and potion again is valuable in Villa. Obviously, it's not the only deciding factor, right? But Embor doesn't really offer much outside of that, other than it is kind of bulky. Like, Embor has, like, insane amounts of HP, like, for a striker, right? Because, well, it does have recoil, which makes sense, right? It's ranked second in HP in the whole game. Its defenses are like, abysmal, but it has a lot of HP, so what can I say? But, yeah, Embor has potion, and also has flame charge, which increases your speed. So, you not only have potions, you also have speed buffs, for the cost of 2 gauges, which is why, and you know, Ember's not better than where it is, but you know, you also don't need to use MPs on that, so that's pretty nice. And also, you do decent damage, right? Even if it's just flame charges. Again, do not flare blitz. You will. That's the worst thing you could do in Villa. Moving on, Torkoal. Torkoal is good. If you guys, you know, seen my Battle Villa run or my free to play Villa run with free to play units, Torkoal kind of carried me. I'm gonna put Torkoal in the still really good tier. Torkoal is a physical defensive tank, right? It can take a lot of hits physically. Does a lot of chip damage. Can burn the opponent, which again helps your whole team defending physically, right? And just really, really good overall. Also, 1 gauge Ember MP refresh, which does give you good gauge management as well. So yeah, moving on to the next one, Meowstick gridded. I'll also put it in this tier, right? Meowstick and Masquerade are kind of similar, right, in terms of what they do after they're gridded. Masquerade could stay alive longer, arguably. But Meowstick does have a really, really good speed. I don't know why I'm looking at the Synchrid, but yeah, if you check, you know, units by speed, Meowstick 406 speed, right? That's really great, which Masquerade doesn't have. And Meowstick also has some really good stuff as well. You got X speed MP refresh, which is nice. The Thunder Wave move gauge refresh, if you want that, I guess. You got double Psybeam move gauge refresh. And for Meowstick, on its like own set, right, you also do have aggravation, right? So you have a really, really good chance of confusing your opponent with Psybeam as well. So you got paralysis and confusion, and yeah, and you got another you got another aggravation node on it as well. So yeah, Master Healer on We're Not Done Yet, Master Healer 2 actually, right? So you can stay alive for a decent amount of time, right? Not the most bulkiest unit in the world, but it could manage. It can manage also speed, all that stuff, right? So that's why we're putting Meowstick there. Moving on to Lunatone. Lunatone, we're gonna put it in the. I'm sorry about your summon luck tier. Lunatone. A lot of people like Lunatone. And Lunatone's not bad for like a 3-star summonable unit, right? Not that I personally don't think stars really have much to do with how good a unit is, right? In terms of that, Lunatone does have some issues. Lunatone's buff is kind of not the greatest. It's a solid buff. I'm like looking rock type, Serperior psychic. Yeah, it's a solid buff. But it's not that great. It buffs both attack and special attack sharply on its trainer move, which is honestly one of the weaker trainer moves in the game, because it's like you won't be using mixed strikers. I don't think in any situation, right? The amount of mixed strikers in the game are really low to begin with, and you just won't be doing that because it's kind of a waste, right? But the reason why Loon Tone isn't lower because it still has X special defense hull, which is pretty nice. Its tankiness is kind of meh for you know a support in general. Speed's not that great. The stats do kind of hurt it a bit, but you know overall okayish buffs. Not the greatest, but yeah, it's not it's still usable. Moving on to Lapras. Lapras we're gonna put in the I guess we're gonna put it in the bruh category because if you're wondering what the heck does Lapras even do, I feel you. I think most of this video will be just going over like a lot of these units, like basic stuff, because a lot of people don't know what these things do, right? Like Lapras. Who the heck knows what Lapras did? Like I didn't until like I actually had to like look it up for the tier list, right? So it has X speed, which is nice. Ice beam, very small chance of freezing, and blizzard, very small chance of freezing, never misses a heal. But it's mainly for, I guess, brace yourself. Lower the user's HP is, the more it raises defense and makes you gradually heal itself. And it has actually okay-ish defensive stats. I think its physical defense is whatever, but its special defense is solid, right? Solid special defense. So you can use it as a okay-ish special defensive tank, and that also gradually again heals yourself. And the you know, if you're at a certain amount of HP, right? If you're at like 30% HP, that's +4 on one brace yourself on your defense. So your defense won't get exposed as much, and you do have also environment. So is there a chance to actually land this? Yeah, it's not the greatest, but you have a chance, right? So moving on to Reuniclus. Reuniclus, we're gonna put it in the basically the best here. Reuniclus is, after it's synchroned, it's just got so much better, right? Reuniclus, you got like you got like hidden power propulsion with a move gauge regen on hidden power. You get revenge boost 4, right? You get sand shelter, so you could run it in sand teams, right? You got healthy healing, natural remedy, catalytic cure 2, not tied to any moves, right? Move gauge boost, MP refresh, move gauge boost, move gauge refresh 9, so guaranteed get an extra move gauge on move gauge boost, right? And yeah, just overall a really nice I guess tank slash support kind of unit, you know, even though it's like a striker, but overall a really nice unit in those scenarios, right? So yeah, Reuniclus really good. Moving on, we got a Abomasnow. Abomasnow's kind of terrible. We're gonna put it in the Y tier. Abomasnow is, it's the worst weather unit in the game. Hail is just straight up bad, and it's especially bad for Villa, right? Not a lot of units benefit from hail to begin with, and Abomasnow, like outside of hail, doesn't really do that much per se, right? You'd have X speed, which is nice, I guess. It's this move is just terrible. Your support, you should not be wasting, you know, slot, you know, gauges just to raise your whatever, you know, attack and what is it, special defense, right? With, you know, Abomasnow's like stats are like abysmal, right? Like you're not gonna use it tank, you're not gonna use it for whatever, right? Does it have also environment? No, it doesn't. Snow shelter, anti-freeze. Yeah, so you're not gonna land that ice punch for that freeze either. You're literally just here for hail plus maybe X speed, right? And hail is just bad. Like there are very few units that benefit from it, and like the units that do, like say Dugong, are terrible as well, right? Like Dugong's not like terrible. It's just not. It's just kind of useless in Villa, right? It's ice type. Ice weak stages are the Rachel Gang stages. The first 5 stages in Valvilla that again do not rotate, and thus aren't really valuable at all. They're super easy to clear. You do not need to use any ice types. It's actually better to not use ice types or electric types or whatever to clear those stages, so you save on slots, right? So yeah, you do have healing hail, but it's not a big deal. Moving on. Empoleon we're gonna put it in a tier by itself just because it's like so bad, right? Let's just name it Empoleon tier. Empoleon. Congratulations to Empoleon. It made like the last tier in like both DPS and support lists, which is an accomplishment. It's hard to do that, right? But yeah, at the moment, without a grid, Empoleon's kind of potato. And if you're wondering why the heck is Empoleon even on this to begin with, Empoleon does kind of sort of have a support move. It's a full heal. Moves all status from out, which is not the worst. But if you compare it to like literally any other unit on this list, it's just all the other stuff are just more useful, right? Unfortunately, Bubble has a very small chance of lowering target speed. Same with Bubble Beam. But yeah, aside from that, I guess you get speed as well. What's its base speed? Its base speed's not the worst, I guess. It's not that great, but its defense stats are terrible. Yeah, don't use Empoleon. Just use like Chern instead, or something. I don't know. Yeah, Empoleon's just bad. Chern's just a much better full heal user, or you could use Arcanine, right? Or Standing Strong, or whatever it's called. But yeah, anyways, moving on. Serperior. Serperior is definitely up here, right? In the the best of the best here. Serperior is just like phenomenal. When we're in grid, right? Serperior has double move MP refresh for X special attack all, and double MP refresh for time to energize, right? TTO, and you also have energy ball on roll, which can lower opponent's special defenses. Serperior is just one of the best special striker supports. I say one of because there's all Alexam. But yeah, Serperior, phenomenal support. Also really bulky, could take a decent amount of hits. And you could heal with Giga Drain if you really want to, although it's really expensive and I don't really recommend doing that. And I think it has Master Healer with that as well. But again, do not really recommend doing that. But Serperior is just a phenomenal support / tank, right? Moving on, Vileplume. Vileplume, we're going to throw it in the super good on multiple stages here. And Vileplume would not be in this place if it weren't for Ho-Oh, right? Ho-Oh is just such a huge game changer for Balvilla, right? For so many units, right? Stuff like Lyra, Vileplume would not be in this place that they are now if it weren't for Ho being so like insanely good. If you check out Erica's Sync Grid, right? You do get Healing Sun in it, which just makes Lyra, or not Lyra, Erica, just such a better tank. Like Erica has like not the best tanking stats. I mean, it has like insanely high special defense stats, but its physical defense is slightly suspect and all that, which it's not the worst because you could also drastically raise it with Pour It On, which you do get also an MP refresh on Pour It On right down here. Although it is like 3 out of 5, but when we do get it eventually, I guess. I forgot it was 3 out of 5, but still, doesn't really matter in this scenario. Also, you got Energy Ball on a roll, which is nice. You get Stun Spore Flabbergas, which could also confuse the opponent as long as you pull off the Stun Spores, which are 100% because you have Piercing K's, right? And then you also have Satisfy Snarl on that, which you could lower the opponent's special attack, which is nice, I guess. Also, MP refresh on at least special defense at the moment. So yeah, overall, it's just super good, especially under Sun, which now is just really good. Anyways, moving on. Masquerain. We're going to put Masquerain in the still really good tier. Masquerain, again, really similar to Meowstic, right? Mainly you're going to be using it, well, I wouldn't say mainly, but a lot of times you will be using it as a Houndoom support. Houndoom is just such a powerful striker. It just does so much damage, right? And Masquerain is the key to help make that happen, right? But like outside of helping Houndoom, like Masquerain's not bad either. You lower opponent's special attack, which is nice. You could get First Aid if you're at 3 out of 5, but you're not. You get again just let's see, Refreshing Rain, which you could do in Rain, which is nice, but like not the biggest deal in the world. And then you just get all these MP refreshes on this stuff, right? X speed, all that stuff. And yeah, it's just a really solid unit, right? Especially you could heal all that stuff, tank decently well. It's Mastering is kind of like a tank version of Meowstic, although both of them could kind of sort of tank a bit. Mastering does it better in my opinion. And then Meowstic is the speed version of that, right? So moving on to regular Steelix, non-gridded Steelix. Non-gridded Steelix, in my opinion, just drop up a bit. We're going to put it in the starting to struggle a bit tier, because it's kind of struggling a bit. And the reason for that is, yes, it does have the insanely high defensive stats, but it's just not as sustainable, unfortunately, right? Regular Steelix is still really good, and this is one unit that I kind of disagreed with NCS on. I thought it was slightly higher, but you know, I do see where they're coming from, right? Clang is great, blocks crits. Like, you give your whole team vigilance, which is an insanely good defensive skill, and then also gives your whole team impervious as well, which is nice. Got X defense all, which is nice. There are some issues with Steelix. The low speed definitely does not help your team. Also has endurance, which is nice. So it's not bad. It really isn't bad. Like I said, I personally would rank it a bit higher. But I can also see why people wouldn't rank it as high as well. But anyways, moving on to the next one. There it is. Granbull, the other fairy type striker in the game. It's not a striker, it's tech unit. It was a striker though. But we're gonna put it in the Y tier with Abomasnow. It really doesn't do much, honestly. Like, it's a tech unit, but like, it really just doesn't do much, right? It has Play Rough, which has nothing to do with tech. It has Charm, which is sharply lowers target's attack, which is nice. But again, it's 2 gauges. Do you really want to do that, you know, with that commitment when you could just like burn the opponent instead, right? That's like 50%. Charm is just what 1.2 or 1.3. It is 100% accuracy, so there's that as well, but also, you know, 2 cost. And you have to like use that like 3 times on a single target, and like you have to do that on multiple targets, which is just kind of hard. What a great composition. Incredibly unreliable, unless like you're just running it like on a flinch team, I guess would make it better. But yeah, it's just hard to use. Dazzling Gleam, Play Rough, very small chance of blurring. It does have that. Okay, yeah, just not that great, unfortunately. Moving on. We got Seismitoad. Seismitoad does not do much either. Seismitoad lowers opponent's speed, which is not the worst thing in the world. But that's like about it. Let me find Seismitoad so you guys even know what the heck the dude does. I do not blame you if you don't know what Seismitoad does. As for its stats though, it's just like, it's like not bad stats, but it just doesn't have anything like good going for it. Like these like are not the worst. These are not the worst, but they're not good either. Mudshot lowers opponent's speed. Bulldoze lowers opponent's speed. So it's basically, do you want to lower your opponent's speed with a 2 gauge move? That's a 95% accuracy, or do you want to lower all your opponent's speed? Speed, with a 3 gauge move with 100% accuracy. Why do that when you have Helios, which does it on a 2 gauge move and is also still AOE and does like so much other things? Special events, you could do that for yourself. Sharply raises speed, which is fine, I guess. Antitoxin. Yeah. Moving on. Cryogonal also in this tier, in the Y tier. Cryogonal Haze is only useful when just basically when you're running a flinch team, because for those of you who don't know, right, when you flinch the opponent, they'll just like switch Q from their attacking move to like a stat boosting move. So that's why I'd say it's like slightly useful in those scenarios, right? You have Healing Hail, which is kind of whatever, honestly. You have Stone Cold Endurance, so you do have endurance, right? And also sharply raises special defense, so you could use that twice. So you could take 3 hits before you die, at least. So there's that. Moving on to regular Rotom, non-gridded Rotom. Non-gridded Rotom, I would probably put it in the super good on multiple stages. By the way, by the like non-gridded, I also mean like 1 out of 5. You know, the free sync grid, right? Which you should probably get for Rotom, because Rotom's 1 out of 5 grid is actually really good, because you do get breathtaking MP refresh, which is really like the core of Rotom's grid, right? Obviously, with 3 out of 5 you get Ridicule, which is insane, and 2 out of 5 you get Agile Entry, which is really good as well. And you also get Thundershock move gauge refresh, so you have good gauge management with Rotom in the game, and you also get one of the 2 X special attack MP refreshes. So 1 out of 5 Rotom. Also, I got leg up as well. I mean, well, you don't have any other choice, so you're probably gonna go with it. But yeah, 1 out of 5 Rotom, not bad. Also, really good defensive stats, right? And also you raise your evasion every time you go ahead and get hit, right? Yeah, really good defensive stats. So, moving on, Pelipper. Pelipper, we're gonna put Pelipper. I'd say we'll put Pelipper in the. It's starting to struggle a bit here. Rain is not the worst. A lot of people, a lot of the Sync pairs, they heal in Rain. But none of them are really that relevant. Like, it's good for a decent amount of units defensively, but it's just not that great offensively in comparison to Sand or Sun, right? Sand and Sun is just so much, just miles better. I mean, I guess it's good for boosting your water type strikers' attacks, since they don't do much damage, unfortunately, except for Milotic, which it does insane amounts of damage. But the other ones are kind of struggling. Yeah, it is what it is, Pelipper. You also raise your own speed and I think special defense or something, which is also not the worst. And you also, I think you have Air Cutter, which is nice. So that's why it's up here. Moving on, Octillery. Octillery, we're going to put it in the, so really good section. If you don't know what Octillery does raise, or not raise, decrease your opponent's accuracy with, was it Smokescreen or something? Octazooka, yeah. Octazooka, you can lower your opponent's accuracy, and then Scald, chance of burn, X defense, and then you also have sharply raises defense as well. And then passive, you got Hostile Environment, which is really nice. Fortuitous 4, which is cool. Piercing Gaze, so your Octazooka doesn't miss. So overall, a decent unit, right? Good special defense. HP is not the worst. Defense is not the worst, right? Defense is really decent as well. I'd say good. So yeah, that's Octillery. Moving on to Samurott. Samurott, I'd also put it in the still really good tier. Samurott has really good buffs, right? When you're going all out, you could just turn 2, get +6 physical attack. But if you're trying to conserve MP, which you could also do, you could wait till you get lower HP. Then you could get up to, I think, +6 on a single. Was it +6 or +4? But anyways, some insane amount of attack on one single use of its trainer move, right? It also gives you speed and is also decently tanky. Also has waterfall, which is nice as well. Chance to flinch, all that stuff, right? So overall, just a solid unit, right? Really good tank stats, right? Both over 200 defense, special defense, over 600 HP. So yeah, moving on. We got Alolan Raichu. If you're wondering why the heck is Alolan Raichu, well, it's gridded Alolan Raichu for starters. So as for Alolan Raichu, we can put it in Sorry about Hemlock tier. What Alolan Raichu does, you could make a, I guess, sort of move gauge boost kind of build, because you do have 2 Thundershock move gauge refreshes, right? Which is a 1 gauge move. You got 2 move gauge refreshers on 1 gauge move, which is nice. And you also have ramming. Ramming speed. Okay, that's for DPS, but which we're not talking about. You have Last Dash, which once per battle could radically, which means +6 on your speed when in a pinch, which is nice. And then feeling low and breeze, MP refresh, more speed stuff, speedy entry for even more speed, and then agile entry for evasiveness, which is cool, I guess. And then Stamina Reserve 6 to increase your gauge by 6 when you're in a pinch. So the Raichu is just all about move gauge, right? Which is usable as a sport, right? Not the best, but that's why it's down here. But still usable. Moving on, Electrode. Electrode, we're gonna put it in the bruh tier. Electrode gives you speed, gives you, has Eerie Impulse. Really fast, 422 speed, right? It should be top. I was about to say top 3, but it's number 4, so it's not. But top 5 quickest units in the game. Has sharply raised speed as well. Eerie Impulse to sharply lower your opponent's special attack, and then you could also sharply raise your evasiveness with a Surge of Power, which is pretty nice. But overall, not the biggest deal in the world. Moving on to Salamence. Salamence, we're going to put it in the not bad tier. Salamence gives you both defenses and also gives you gauges on one of them. I think it's when you raise your defense. It's one of those, but yeah, it gives you, by the way, support Salamence, right? But yeah, it gives you both defenses. They kind of split it though, which is kind of awkward. But yeah, it gives you both defenses. Okay, it's just the defense that also gives you 2 bars, and then you also have Dragon Breath, which has a 40% chance to paralyze your opponent, and you come in with Terrify, which is basically Intimidate, which lowers all their all your opponents attack by 1 when you come in, which costs you nothing, so that's cool as well. Moving on to Alakazam. Non-gridded Alakazam is really good still, right? We're going to put it in basically the best tier. Non-gridded Alakazam gives you a lot of stuff. First of all, it gives you... No, that's the gridded Alakazam. It gives you Reflect, which is nice. It gives you Psybeam, chance to confuse. Also 1 out of... Oh, actually, yeah, we are looking at this. 1 out of 5 Alakazam also... It actually, gives you decent amount of stuff. 1 out of 5 Alakazam gives you 6 cents MP Refresh, which is basically a better potion, right? It heals the same amount as a potion does, and also gives you +1 accuracy and +3 special attack, which is insane. And you get the MP Refresh at 1 out of 5, which is really good, right? As for the other stuff, I don't think you really get anything else. Yeah, but just this alone makes Alakazam good enough to be up there, right? Also tanks decently well. Again, you have Dire Hit all as well. But yeah, just it's mainly because 6 cents MP Refresh is just so insanely good as a support move, right? Moving on. Regular Serperior. Regular Serperior is not bad, I guess. We're gonna put it in the super good multiple stages tier. Regular Serperior at 1 out of 5, right? You do get, I think, both time to energize MP refreshes. The only stuff you're missing is the X special attack all MP refreshes, which is kind of unfortunate, which is why it's on the same tier as the gridded version, fully grid version, right? But yeah, you do get 2 time to energize MP refreshes, which is kind of your the core of Serperior, right? And you also get an energy pill on a roll, so that's nice. Moving on to Arcanine. Arcanine raises your speed, protects the whole team from status conditions, but you can only use that once. So we're gonna put it in. Sorry about some luck here. I think it's also decently tanky. If I remember correctly, let me check its. Let's check out its stats. It's not the best in terms of tankiness, but it looks not terrible, right? 178, 190. Yeah, that's really good defense stats, over 600 HP. So yeah, that's what Arcanine does. Raises everyone's speed, and then has 1 chance without MP refresh to remove status condition and protect your team from status condition. Although it doesn't last for the whole match, which is kind of sad. Moving on to Salazar. Salazar, if you're wondering, what the heck? Why is another striker in here? Well, it's honestly more of a tech unit than a striker at this point. Salazar, for those of you who don't know, Salazar actually is really good as a tech unit. If I could find it, there we go. There's Salazar, and basically what Salazar does is for Smog, you have a 50% chance to poison your opponent, and on Smog you also have a 50% chance to flinch them as well. On a 1 gauge move with move gauge refresh, you have a 50% chance to poison and flinch them, right? There's different rolls, right? But there's that as well. But also you increase your speed by 6 when you use Out of My Way, right? So that's really nice. You also get Agile Entry, Endurance, right? These are all really good if you're trying to use it as a tech support type of unit. Not the best when you're trying to do damage with it. When you do damage, you want Toxic Power, Harry 3, all that stuff, right? But it's a really good tech unit, which a lot of people do kind of overlook, unfortunately. But yeah, there we go, Salazar. Oh yeah, forgot to rank it. Salzel, I'd personally put it in the still really good tier because it's still really good. Moving on. Moving on, we got regular Meowstic. Regular Meowstic, we're gonna put it in the, I guess, let's put it in the not bad tier because regular Meowstic does have like a lot of the stuff that you already need from its grid, right? 1 out of 5 Meowstic. So you got the We're Not Done Yet MP refresh, which is nice. You get 1 Psybeam move gauge refresh, and then you get X speed MP refresh. And yeah, you know, Meowstic Synchro doesn't really offer you like the most stuff. You don't get aggravation, unfortunately, at 1 out of 5. Right? You don't get emergency huddle, which is not the biggest deal in the world, personally. You don't get the second Cyber B move gauge refresh, which kind of sucks. You don't get X speed pep rally, and I think that's the main ones. But still, not bad for what it does. So there we go. That's why it's in the not bad tier. Moving on to regular Swanna. Regular Swanna still decently good, right? At least I think it's decently good. Regular Swanna, I'd put it at I keep on saying regular. It's 1 out of 5. Right, 1 out of 5 Swanna. We'll put it in the super good multiple stages tier, right? Swanna, decently tanky, right? Gives the whole team speed, defenses, and at 1 out of 5, you have both potion MP refresh. Do I need to say more, right? Don't get master healers, but you do get the potion MP refresh, which is nice, and I'm betting, I guess, which is not the worst. And I also get a Take Flight MP refresh. I cannot wait for Swanna Synchro to drop, man. It's gonna be so great. But yeah, that's 1 out of 5 Swanna. Still really good. Moving on to Ho-Oh. Ho-Oh is a game changer, right? We're gonna put it in the still really good tier. Ho, basically all Ho does as a tech support unit is just to give you sun and to give you endless sun and to make the sun never set on passive again after his sync moves, which just helps so many other units like the aforementioned Erica, right? Vileplume, helps Meganium, helps itself. Right, Venusaur, Charizard, right, Red's Charizard as well. What was the other one? Roserade, right? It just helps so many units. Sun teams are great at the moment, so yeah, that's why Ho is up there. Moving on to regular Milotic, non-grid Milotic, we're gonna probably put it in the starting to struggle a bit tier. Regular Milotic really, well, not regular Milotic. 1 out of 5 Milotic doesn't really give you the most stuff. You do get Whirlpool move gauge refresh, which is nice. I guess also the accuracy on Whirlpool move gauge refresh. I think you do get. Oh, actually you don't. Never mind. The one you get is Inspiring Art, which is kind of useless. But also Brian move gauge refresh, but you're probably gonna use Whirlpool move gauge refresh instead. But just just for Milotic, outside of its sync grid, it could reflect status conditions, which they're still trying to fix. Once it's fixed, I mean, it could reflect like primary status conditions. You just can't reflect any status conditions that are like a secondary effect of a move, right? Unfortunately, at the moment. But yeah, and it's relatively tanky. You get recuperation when you sync move, all that stuff. It's it's good. Moving on to Eevee. Eevee is going to be in the basically the best here, because Eevee gives you potion first and foremost, is tanky, and also its sync move is just insanely good, and also its like non-sync move also gives you gauges, which is nice as well, which I keep on forgetting is a thing. But yeah, its sync move is super good, right? It gives basically all stats except for like crit and invasiveness to your whole team, which helps multiple units, right? It's super good with Pinsir. It's good with basically all the mega units because, like, at a point you probably would want to use Eevee sync move over like your regular mega sync move, because mega Pokemon sync moves kind of suck. So yeah, and that's why Eevee's up there. Moving on to Onyx. Onyx we're gonna put in the not bad tier. It has potion. It's relatively tanky physically. For its stats. It raises its defenses and all that stuff as well, right? It's physical defense 177. Also raises its own defenses with Rock Hard Determination, sharply raises them, and then you also have Rock Doom. So yeah, it's not bad. No, also Stoic too. So that's why Onyx is there. Moving on to Zatu. Zatu is nice. It's I'd probably put it in the starting to struggle a bit here. So basically, what Zatu does, it does have air cutter, air slash. I always get these two moves confused. But oh no, it's psychic. But you do get that. It has really good defenses, right? Over 200 on both defenses. The HP is not the greatest. Not bad speed as well. Just in terms of just raw stats, it has really good raw stats. And then you have confused rate, which is nice, 100%. 2 gauges though, but still, it's kind of worth it. You also have air slash, moderate chance of making the target flinch. So yeah, it's not that bad. If you want, I personally would rank it, but if you want to rank it lower, I'm fine with that as well. Moving on, Hariyama. Hariyama is, I'll put it in D. It has Brick Break, which, breaks Reflex and Light Screen, which is completely useless in Villa because no one uses that. But Hariyama has Potion, which automatically makes it a decent unit for Villa because in Villa, Potion is just really valuable. Aside from that, let's check its stats. It has a lot of HP, which is nice. Defenses kind of suck. But yeah, it has Potion, it has Rock Smash. It has whatever this is, increases your defense, so it's not like the worst in the world. But yeah, it's among the Potion users, like it's probably, in my opinion, it's either the worst or it's a contest between Hariyama and Embor in terms of the worst Potion user. Moving on, Dragonite. Speaking of Potion users, Dragonite is here as well. Dragonite, I do think is a better Potion user than both Embor and Hariyama. Just because Dragonite also gives you gauges, right? It gives you gauges at the cost of its own HP, but again, the others can't even give you that if you want them to. So there's that. Again, just potions. Moving on to Miltank. Miltank, we're also going to put in this tier. Miltank heals itself. Its stats are not they're not anything insane. It does have decent HP, right? But its defense stats are kind of whatever. But it could heal itself for the most part. Sharply raises your defenses. And then you have X speed, body slam, moderate chance to paralyze, moderate chance to flinch on stomp, body slam, which is not the worst, I guess. Moving on. Although I'd probably maybe put it, maybe I'll put it one tier down lower. Like the heal thing is nice, which could potentially warrant it being in the starting to show a bit here, but its stats just aren't that good for it, honestly, as a tank. So anyways, moving on. Swanna is easily all the way up here in the the best tier, because it's the best, right? Fully gridded Swanna is just an absolute monster and is probably just straight out the best healer in Balvilla, period, if I could find it. So you get 2 potion MPRs, you get both master healers, you could get either Gust move gauge refresh or Gust staggering. You can only go for one just because of energy limits, right? But yeah, really good. I just don't know what else to say about it. It's just good. Also, take flight, MP refresh. Wait, can you take? Yeah, you also take flight, MP refresh. Yeah, Swanna's good. Really good. Can't wait for it to come down. Aurora's. But again, this by the way, this is a 3 out of 5. And this as well. So at the moment, you probably want to go up there. It depends if they give us a candy, you get that. But still, even without that, it's still this tier level, right? It's basically, I would still say it's a better Pikachu, just because it doesn't have as good of a grid as Pikachu at where Pikachu is, because Pikachu has its full grid unlocked, and this one doesn't. But this one at base is a better unit, right? So with its support moves, Take Flight is just a really great support move in general. Moving on. Aurora's, we'll put it in D tier. Aurora's, personally not a huge fan. Aurora's just flinches, but it is an AoE flinch, right? So it's not bad, right? Rock Slide, moderate chance of flinching, and then you also have aggravation, which raises that chance, right? So, and it's AoE. It is 3 bars, so yeah. Special defense, Rock Tomb, lower target speed, and then you get gauges, raises your own accuracy, and makes yourself gradually heal. And like its defensive stats aren't the greatest, it has good special defense. So there's that. Moving on to Grid Exam. Grid Exam is an easy, like the best of the best. It's just like insane, right? Sixth Sense is one of the best like support moves in the game. It heals +3 special attack, raises accuracy, and again you have MP refresh on that. You have Dire Hit, Dire Hit all MP refresh, and then it has Dire Hit's critical squad, which Dire Hit all critical squad, which turns the Dire Hit all into like a Dire Hit plus, right? It's just it tanks really good as reflect, MP refresh, as reflect move gauge refresh, and reflect pep rally, which raises the speed of all your units, as confusion, which can confuse the target. Psychic has a chance to lower the opponent's special defenses, as move gauge refreshes on on and on and on and on and on and on and on. Like if you list everything that like Alexam does, it's probably gonna take you like 3 minutes straight, right? So moving on to Alolan Persian. Alolan Persian's an interesting one, right? I would say it's probably also still really good tier. It's mainly because of its Screech, right? Screech is kind of like Leer, but worse. At least I personally think it's worse. If you think it's better, then that's fine. But I do like Leer being 1 gauge and AoE. A Screech is a single target, 2 gauge. But it does give you like -2. It has X speed as well as a bite, which you could flinch, and then you sharply raise your evasiveness, and yeah, so there's that. Also critical sting, which I guess you could do. So yeah, that's Alolan Persian. Moving on to Torchic. Torchic, we're gonna put it in the not bad tier, because it's not bad. It really isn't bad. It has okay stats, right? If you promote it, which you do kind of have to promote it to make it have much more usable. Its buffs are great, right? X special attack, or not X, X attack all, and then Blazing Hope, which sharply raises your special attack and raises your crit, right? Again, really good for special strikers, especially for those who do need crit, right? So there's that, and also you have Flame Charge, which raises speed as well at the cost of 2 gauges, which would eventually pay off, but it's still 2 gauges. Moving on, Victory Bell. Victory Bell, we're gonna put it in basically the best here, and if you're wondering why, it's because of Lucky Skill. Troublemaker makes it so that Victory Bell. For those of you who don't know what Victory Bell does, Victory Bell has sleep powder. It puts your opponents to sleep, right? And in Balvala, literally no units have Wide Awake, so you could put anyone to sleep. And Troublemaker could increase the because the only issue with sleep powder is accuracy, right? But with that's weak. But with Troublemaker, you could increase Victory Bell sleep powder accuracy to like 93% or something. So you're basically going to always land it. Also have X speed as well. But yeah, just putting like 3 of your opponents to sleep, they literally do not do anything. Like, they can't attack you. They're asleep. It's kind of overpowered, isn't it? Right? So yeah, and also gradually heal yourself. The dude's stats are like potato though. But yeah, you're mainly going to be using it for sleep powder. Speed is nice, and then also defense crush 2 is also not bad as well. So yeah, just like putting the whole team on the other side, to sleep. It's just insanely good, right? But again, you do need Troublemaker as a lucky skill, or else it's just gonna like miss like half the time. Well, not half times, 25% of the time. Moving on to Charon and Stalin. Charon and Stalin I personally like a lot, right? I'm gonna put it in the super good on multiple stages because it's super good on multiple stages. It has like full team gradually heal, which also gives you some move gauge as well. You get a full heal, which is just like, it's just such a better version of Empoleon in terms of full heal, because it does more stuff, right? It has Crunch, which could lower your opponent's defenses maybe. And yeah, that's all to Charon. Moving on to Mew. Mew is definitely also in the best of the best here. Mew is extremely tanky, has evasiveness, right? The World of Dreams move thing, which also has an MP refresh. Gives you like random stats by +3 and also raise your speed, or special attack, right? But you know, the random stats could also give you evasion. Again, could give you defense, special defense on a already really tanky unit. You have natural remedy. You got first aid. Mew is just insane. You got unfortuitous on Swift, which is an AOE move, which has a move gauge refresh. So you have like a random chance of lowering a stat of like your whole opponent's team, right? So Mew's really good. Caracosta, I think that's what it's called, right? This thing's a potato. We're gonna put it into the Y tier. It like doesn't like it has like a aggro drawing move or whatever, right? So like its stats aren't even like that. Yeah, you know what? I guess the defense is not like terrible. I guess it's not like the best, but it's not terrible. But yeah, it doesn't really do much. X defense all, and then rough seas ahead, which is a aggro drawing. Also gives you endure, which is nice, I guess. Rock Tomb lowers opponent's speed. But yeah, it's not the greatest, unfortunately. Moving on to Ariados, which we're gonna put in the bruh tier. And it's not it's not the worst. Ariados, when the opponent is poisoned, you lower its offensive stats, and I think I want to say speed, or is it accuracy? Let's see. Ariados, it is Venom Drench. Speed. Yeah. So which is nice, I guess, but it's not like the greatest. It also gets gives yourself speed and evasiveness, which is cool. But yeah, it's just also hostile environment for I guess if you want to poison the opponent. It got better. I'd say now that Salazar's a thing, right? And Crobat Salazar just makes it more relevant than it was before, but still not like the most relevant thing in the world. Moving on to actually, let's not talk about regular Palossand. There's literally no point. To Synchro to Palossand. Synchro to Palossand is really good. We're gonna put it in the Super multiple stages, mainly because of Cynthia, honestly. Oh, and Steelix as well. Cynthia, Steelix, and Palossand is just an insanely strong combo, right? Cynthia, strongest AoE striker in the game at the moment. Palossand gives you Sandstorm, which is what Cynthia needs, right? The Sandstorm has MP refresh. It's obviously really good. The Sandstorm also gives attack, gives you a good chance of getting crit, right? As for Palossand itself, has Soothing Sand, all that stuff, Sand Shelter, so it doesn't get hurt from that. MP refresh on Sandstorm, a lot of or not MP, move gauge refresh. A lot of move gauge refreshes on Sandstorm. I also got MP refresh on Sandstorm. Again, Astonish. You got aggravation on Astonish. You get a move gauge regen on Astonish, right? So it's just really good, right? Like as a weather unit, I'd probably argue Palossand is probably the best. It just gives you so much stuff, right? You flinch your opponents. You give attack, crit, all that stuff. You heal. It's just insanely good as a weather unit. Moving on to Probopass, which I personally do like a lot. Probopass, we're going to put it in the it's going to show a bit here. It has really good buffs. It gives you speed, special attack, has wide guard, which is cool. In some strings, I think it has X. It's either X special defense all or X defense all. I think it's X special defense all. But regardless, it gives you defense to the whole team as well. It tanks occasionally well, I guess. But yeah, that's Probopass, I guess. Moving on to Bronzong. Bronzong, we're going to put it in the not bad tier. Bronzong, you could even put it higher, honestly, because the only thing about Bronzong is you kind of you limited team choices, but Bronzong is insanely good. It's probably that one unit that you don't know about that is like so much better than you think it is, because who cares about Thorton, right? No one's ever looked at Thorton, but when you do look at it, it's really good. You have Telekinesis, which makes the target unable to evade moves. So even if you don't have, say, Troublemaker on Victory Bell, and then like Victory Bell and Bronzong on the same team, and then you Telekinesis your opponent, they cannot evade moves. Victory Bell goes in, Sleep Powder, never misses. The opponent is asleep. The opponent's whole team is asleep for the entire time until it wakes up. Well, it doesn't wake up, but when it uses its sync move, because sleep can't stop that. But it's outside of using opponent using sync moves, they basically don't do anything. They're just asleep for the whole time, which is insanely powerful. And also, for units that do have lower accuracy on certain moves, like for Alligator's Mega Miss, right? You could apply Bronze on with that, which telekinesis helps there as well. And they also have analysis complete, which raises your defenses, and then you make yourself resistant to whatever move that you're last hit by, which is nice. Zen Headbutt, small chance of flinching, which is cool, I guess, and then aggravation, which does increase that chance. So, moving on. You got Medicham. Medicham is okay, right? We're gonna put it in the Serperior Summon Lock tier. It's mainly just gonna be used with for Alligator, right? for Mega Kick. It's kind of like you give like an extra to pick up the pace for Alligator, which is nice, right? It also does, if I think it has Zen Headbutt, I'm pretty sure. It's fighting, right? But yeah. Overall solid unit. Wait, does it not have Zen Headbutt? Oh no, it has Rock Smash, which good chance of lowering defense. X attack all again, nice buffs. It's just mainly used for Alligator, let's be real. On the ropes, which is cool, I guess. What's his tank stats? Not bad. Moving on. Delibird. We're gonna put it in the still really good tier. I would rank Delibird higher if only all the presents lasted more than like 5 seconds. Well, it's not 5 seconds, but it lasts really short. Move gauge regen is really good. The quicker move gauge regen is really nice. It's just super short. And you probably would use Serperior instead. But also gives you X attack call, which is nice, and okay-ish tanky. So that's Delibird. Togedemaru. So we're gonna put it in the Serperior Summon Lock tier. Togedemaru is I don't like it, honestly. I mean, I like the Pokemon's cool, but the sync pair. It has Nuzzle, and you'd think Nuzzle would be nice until you realize it's a 3 gauge move, single target, does 20 damage, paralysis. Thunderwave is 2 gauge, Sunpore is 2 gauge, Nuzzle is 3 gauge, just because it does an extra bit of damage, which is honestly nothing. And it's, animation time. Like, it's what the heck. It's bad. But you do have speed with Togedemaru, which is nice. You have really good base speed. You could raise this speed further as well. Special defense is the worst, I guess. Moderate chance for flinching on Zing Zap, which is a 2 gauge flinch, which is not that great. X special defense, and endurance. So there's that. Moving on to Grimsley and Liepard. Grimsley and Liepard, we're gonna put it in the basically the best here. So it's a really good tank. And if you're wondering what the heck, what Grimsley tank? Well, if you do look at its like bulk stats, like it's not anything crazy, but it's not bad either, right? 182 on both defenses, 472 on its HP. But the way that Grimsley tanks is not through traditional means. You don't tank through conventional means. You tank through evading and healing, which is super weird if you're not familiar with Liepard. But Liepard is definitely a legitimate tank in Battlevilla, right? So you got MP refresh on Snatch. I think you have like another one, right? Snatch, or where's the other one? Oh, it's 2 Snatch MP refreshes. You got Ridicure, so occasionally heals when you dodge, right? You could easily get to +6 evasion, right? And then you have Snatch, Move Gauge Refresh, which is nice. But you also have Catalytic Cure, 2 Catalytic Cures on Snatch. So basically, you have a 75% chance of at least healing. I think, was it like 40% or was it 80%? Let me check. Oh yeah, you have a 75% chance to heal at least 40% HP. You have a 25% chance at healing 80% of your HP and a 25% chance of not healing. But again, you do have 2 MP refreshes on Snatch, right? And then you just have a lot of stuff. You got where is it? On the Run, which radically raises your evasiveness in a pinch, which means you don't have to actually use your trainer move. So once you're in a pinch, you radically raise that and go Snatch. Even there's no stats to Snatch, honestly. Just like Snatch on like a blank Pokemon, whatever, who cares? Just to heal, right? So after you heal, you're at +6 evasiveness. You just dodge everything they throw at you, and then you're good basically, right? So Grimsley really good as a tank. Oh, you do have to give it the lucky skill that negates its the defense loss here. You do have to give it that lucky skill to make it work, or else it's not as good. Moving on to Gridded Rotom. Gridded Rotom, we're going to put it at like the best of the best here. Fully Gridded Rotom is an absolute monster. It's one of my favorite tanks to use in the Villa, right? As Ridicure 2 occasionally restores HP when the opponent attack targeting this move misses, and it could get to +6 evasiveness really easily. So you start with +1. Every time you get hit, you get another +1. So if you get hit 5 times, you're at +6. Again, you have Breathtaking MP Refresh, which is insanely good support move. You get Thundershock move gauge refresh, which is nice. Hostile Environment on Thundershock. You got X special attack move gauge refreshes, 2 of them. Leg Up if you want that. Third Act if you want that. I'm personally not a huge fan. 2 RNG, right, for me. But yeah, overall, really good. With really good defensive stats, right? As like one of the best in terms of like both defense stats in the game. They're both 261, right? And they a good HP as I won't say good, not bad HP as well. Moving on to Lyra Meganium. Lyra Meganium would not have been up here if it weren't for Ho-Oh. Again, another benefactor of Ho-Oh. So we're gonna put Lyra Meganium in the still really good tier. Obviously after the sun comes out, which you don't have to worry. A lot of people are worrying, oh yeah, but you have to sync move first before the sun comes out. But yeah, it's like 3 turns before the sun comes out. Just like use Dire Hit all once, use Dire Hit all again, or you Energy Ball, right? Whichever. And then use Light Screen, 3rd turn, and then boom, sun's out, and then you just use whatever, Sunny Side Up or something. Or trainer move, and then you get +2 to all those the offense stats and speed to your whole team, which is great. And also Lyra has good HP, all that stuff, decent defensive stats. Moving on to Aegis Slash, we're gonna put it on the still really good tier as King Shield. So you just completely tank a move. If it's like a Giga Impact, Outrage, one of those like really hard hitting moves in Villa, you just use King Shield and then you completely tank the hit. So yeah, that's really good. Also, you raise your defenses, all that stuff, just good tank in general. Moving on to Glalie. Glalie, we're gonna put it in the super good on multiple stages. X regen all is nice. You also can redirect damage, also raising everyone's I think special attack as well. And you have a 1 gauge spam, so it's basically a Charon except you have a 1 gauge spam instead of a 2 gauge move. And also you raise special attack, but you also don't give free move gauges, which interchangeable. One you use less gauges to spam, the other one you just give out gauges. Moving on, Gengar is also up here, not up there, but up here, and basically that's just because Troublemaker. Same thing with Sleep Powder, makes Hypnosis like 90% or 93% or something. Accuracy, you just sleep your opponent's whole team and then they just don't hit you. Pretty simple. Moving on to Helios. Helios, we're going to put it at the super good on multiple stages tier. It does need a team though. It works really well with Rotom gridded, with Mew gridded, with Grimsley gridded. You can lower your opponent's accuracy. It has 2 move gauge regens, or 2 move gauge regens on a 1 gauge move on Mud Slap. Lowers your opponent's accuracy, which again, the more dodges you get with these units, well, not so much Mew benefits that much, more so these two, right? The more you dodge, the more HP you heal, or the more chance of HP you heal. For Mew, you dodge more, you don't take hits, which is nice. And you also can lower the whole opponent's team speed, and AoE speed lowering move. And you also have a really strong self-healing move as well. It's just so, yeah, it's a really solid unit. Moving on to Rapidash. Rapidash is your other Sunsetter. We're going to put it in, still really good tier as well. Unfortunately, unlike Ho, the sun is limited for Rapidash, but you also get some other stuff. You get speed as well, all that stuff. So not that bad, right? It is what it is, Sunsetter. So moving on to Milotic. Milotic fully gridded, we're gonna put up here. Milotic like fully gridded and like non-gridded, like the difference is just so like huge, right? Milotic, when you fully grid it, has like so much good stuff. It has healthy healing. You got a Catalytic Cure on Mirror Coat if you want to do that, which I'm personally not a huge fan of. You got Shielded Squad on Grand Illusion. You get First Aid, you get Poke Trap, you get Sterner Staff, you get Revenge Boost 4, right? It's just so good. I don't know what else to say. It's just so good. And again, you get recuperation on your sync move. So, yeah, there we go. We went through all of these slightly long because a lot of these need a bit more explanation, just in case you guys don't know what the heck these units do. But yeah. Anyways, that's me for this one. Again, complete subjective. You don't have to agree with that. I don't even agree with the whole thing, right? So, yeah. Again, that's me for this one. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Like if you enjoyed this video, subscribe to my channel for some more problematic content. Part 2 of the whole event's dropping tonight, so that should be fun. And I'll see you guys in the next one.